right, everyone, what's
What
going on?
up? What
I don't
up?
even know how to introduce the show anymore. I'm so locked right now. I'm so locked. What is going on, everyone? It is another episode of Cold Ones Conversations. We got the Ravens cap on. We got the Philly Drinkers cap on. It is that time
C6.
of the year.
Shout out
It's the
C6.
NFL season. It's Hollywood hair. It's Brennan the Bod Patrill. And he's looking absolutely beautiful today in that Kelly Green. Trilly, break it down. How are we doing, my friend?
We're doing well, man. We're pumped up. I'm ready for football, man. We've working at the Fanatic. I've been making the way up the ladder since we last talked, and just sitting there talking about, the 53-man roster and Jalen Hurts and Sirianni's relationship and who's gonna play center. Can Cam Jurgens step up? Can the defensive coordinators? Can the Eagles get over the hump? Are they gonna start slow? They got to go to Brazil. I'm ready for the games to actually happen. I'm ready for them to come out and just absolutely blow the world on fire, set the world on fire week one, and for this NFL season to get underway. We need good football. And if you could hear that, we got real football. We're talking about real football, but we also got
Straight
fantasy
up.
football. We got a fantasy football draft with the family from Susquehanna Rugby. We're in the third round right now, so Harry and I may or may not be distracted as we go throughout this. But, with my first two picks, I want A.J. Brown and Jonathan Taylor. We're sitting at the 8th spot, so nobody cares about your fantasy team, but I figured it would be a good little splash just to kind of throw in there for all you people that are going to be drafting this weekend, too. I think I'm going Alvin Kamara, Harry,
I'm digging it.
or or since you're picking twice behind me here,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
got to
want to
be
say
careful of this.
I don't want to say the second guy that I'm interested in because I think he would be a real steal there. But I don't love these wide receivers and Collins, Drake, Malik Neighbors, Evans, DK Metcalf. I mean, I don't know how you feel about those guys, but I mean, with AJ Brown, I'm comfortable there, and there's a lot of depth at the wide receiver position nowadays in the
Dude,
NFL.
there's a ton. It's nuts. I mean, the movement of these guys getting paid and the way that the quarterback play this year. I mean, dude, you got guys like London now who are with Kirk who can make a difference. You know what I mean? Like he could have an insane season. If
Yeah.
somebody's able to get London and he drops into those low picks, could be huge.
Oh, I got 9 seconds here. All right, we're going Alvin Kamara.
All right.
That might be
I think that's a
interesting, but
terrible pick. I think that
I
that was a
I
terrible
think
pick.
he's past his prime a little bit. But I got another running back that I'm looking at that I hope falls to me here. I don't know. We're gonna get into the NFC in next week's episode before the start of the football games. But today we're gonna dive into the AFC and a little bit of the division winners. Because Harry's rocking the Ravens hat there, and we were kind of just sitting here before we started recording a little bit. We're trying not to do the show before the show, but as Hollywood's on the clock here, but we were kind of looking at it. There's a lot of these divisions in the AFC that are going to be tight, and a lot of teams that are kind of a bit of a surprise that they're favored in a lot of these sports books to win the division. And we'll get to that in a couple of minutes here. But Harry, what's your thought process here with back-to-back spots at the 10 spot?
Dog, this is intense, bro. I'm having an anxiety attack doing this. I got you there. I'm looking at stats. I got an Excel finance sheet. Shout out Don. I got to tell him that we're shouting out Don. Go check out the podcast. Uh, I'm going to. I got to go running back here, right? I got Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson already locked and loaded at wide receiver position. I'm on the clock with 25 seconds to go. I got back-to-back picks. I need
Oh
a running back
no.
bad here, man. I'm
That's
going
why I
Joe
didn't.
Mixon. I'm going Joe Mixon. I got to get him in, and I'm back on the clock. And the question is, ladies and gentlemen, do I go now wide receiver, or do I go, do I do something dangerous here? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do something dangerous. I'm going to live on the edge. I'm going with the man who's dating a girl with $1 billion in the bank. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. I don't like
Travis
that.
Kelsey off the board. Travis
I
Kelsey is
I don't
off
like
the
that.
board.
I don't like that. You don't like my Kamara pick. I was looking at Devon A-Chain, but I was trying to find him, and then it got to 10 seconds left, and I couldn't find him, so I just panicked and went Kamara. HN went the pick before. So that's going to be a little bit of our struggle here as we're trying to talk and entertain the people and also put together a beautiful draft board here. Yeah, we're playing for some cash. And then also the loser for this league, one of our coaches, Randy. Shout out Randy. Hit him up in the comments. We love you, Randy, but he lives out in Michigan now. The loser of the league is going to be in charge of getting all the boys together in the league.
This is so
And
stupid.
we're going to have to, they're going to be responsible for renting the bus and putting a setup point to pick up all the fellas. And they have to drive us all the way out to Randy for the week or weekend or
So,
whatever it is.
ladies and gentlemen, number one, we want to thank you for the views. We want to thank you for subscribing. We want to thank you for liking the video. But we want to give you a little homage of what our rugby team was like, a little blast from the past. And what Trilly's telling you right there is that instead of setting up a Southwest flight, $89 out to Seaman, Michigan, we're talking about renting a bus. We're talking about doing 7 hours plus of driving to go see a former coach. That's the mindset on this team. Could you say that that's a concussion protocol? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. But we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about the love of the game, the love of the fantasy. And Philadelphia, you're up, brother. You're up.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting for the people that are probably tuning in for the first time. They're like, what the hell is this show about? This show is about gambling. It's about NFL. It's about MLB. It's about whatever the hell we want, keeping up with the NBA, maybe a little hockey talk. But we're also sprinkling in. We're trying to keep it fun and light and try to build a structure throughout the show. So let us know how you're feeling with hitting that subscribe button as we move forward here. But I mean, I'm looking at the clock here. There's a lot of great options. There's just so many wide receivers. That's why I wanted to get running backs there
Yeah, I
for
hear
for,
you.
for this situation because you're looking at 15 guys deep
Yeah,
at this
big time.
point.
Big time.
And I'm kind of thinking I might have to go the second best tight end off the board here, is
Yeah.
where I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna go.
This is a smart pick if that's what you do.
And I think I'm going Sam Laporta.
Second best tight end?
Yeah, who's the second
Take him.
best? Oh, you're going
Take him.
Mark Andrews?
Take him. Take
Dude,
him.
the guy can't stay healthy, dog.
Leave 89. Leave 89 on that board, baby.
I'm scrolling. I might be able to get him in the next time around.
You honestly might be. You're right.
Yeah, that's all. That's kind of where my head's at here. But I kind of like Ayuk. We just got the big deal. We'll get into that next week when we talk about the NFC.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I think I'm going. Yeah, I want Sam Laporta. All right, and the Phillies might get a win here too.
I mean, listen, man, that's a great pick. I dig it. Again, Detroit's going to be alive. We're going to be talking more NFC talk next week. And I cannot wait to dive into the NFC North. I think that is going to be the AFC North of this past year. Probably the most exciting division in football, I would argue. Well, maybe not the most exciting division in football, but the most dynamic for you don't know what's going to come out. You got two lively teams with others on the come up, young quarterback play, a guy who's established himself. Golf is going to be slinging that rock. I like that pick, Trill. I really do.
All right, Harry, now that we finally got some time in between picks here, let's start to get into it. Let's get into the AFC. Let's start the divisions.
Let's welcome back the show. Let's get it in the plot. Let's welcome back the show.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's another NFL season. Come on, baby.
I tried to start us off hot here. I'm excited about this NFL season. I hope you guys all too. It's going to be interesting for me. I'm going to be sitting probably at the studio a lot for those 1 o'clock hour games, playing, whatever game we got on the radio. But I'll have Red Zone up on the iPad. I'll be watching when the birds aren't on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. My first real season where I'm kind of producing shows and talking about it. So make sure you tune in to BSP if you want a little bit more of that. But also, Harry, I think let's go the first division here that we were talking about. Let's go to the AFC East.
Done.
That division, you got the Jets as the favorite to win that division at plus 160. The Bills at 195, Dolphins 210, and then the Pats at 2,600. I mean, pretty tight at the top there, but the Jets with Aaron Rodgers maybe healthy, who knows? COVID toe, the ankle, whatever. He might disappear for a week. Who knows?
He might go back to Egypt, dude. He's been flying international. I mean, he's debating vice president, then he's flying international, then he's getting fined for not showing up in training camp. Let's talk about this before we even get to the odds. This is what I want to know. I want to know this. Will Aaron Rodgers, full stop, we're not talking playoff, we're not talking not playoff, we're not talking division yet. I just want to answer this question from you, Trill. Will Aaron Rodgers play next season?
After this year?
Yes.
If the Jets win their division, win a playoff game, and lose, I think he comes back. If he feels like they're in a position where he's like, I got one more good one in me, yes. But if they flounder out, they barely make a wild card, they lose in the first round, I think he's done. He has to see that this team and this coach, honestly, has the potential to win and to get over that
So,
hump.
my answer to that would be the only way that I think Aaron hangs it up is if this team goes 500 or below. I think that Aaron knows that. Listen, Aaron is clearly a money guy. We've made that clear on this show a million times. If you've listened to us, if you've been a long-time listener, you know that I both love and hate Aaron. I think that he's the most beautiful thrower of the football. I think he is the definition of what makes football beautiful, but yet at the same time has all that talent and yet didn't capitalize on it to be a guy like Brady, where you weren't a money guy and you didn't win multiple rings. Um, what I think is that Aaron now knows there's a lot of guys. It's not him being compared to Brady anymore. He's not in that conversation anymore. It's Patrick being compared to Brady.
Yeah.
It's the idea that can Joe Burrow get compared to Patrick Mahomes?
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea that can Jalen Hurts, can Lamar Jackson, can Josh Allen be compared to Patrick Mahomes? And then, oh yeah, wait, there was that guy named Aaron Rodgers. That's where he's at right now. And I do believe that he feels that. And the only way, frankly, that he can change that conversation is more than 16 games on the field. Now, if he goes out, rides into the sunset, and hosts a Lombardi trophy since the second overall Super Bowl for this franchise, this conversation is totally mute. Forget it. Flush it down the toilet, as Randy would say. Shout out SU Rugby and move on. But otherwise, you've got to have more time on the field. So to get into it, dude, these odds are nuts. That the Jets are plus 160, that is a fool's errand. A fool's errand. We were talking before the show. I mean, look at FanDuel, dude. That money for the Dolphins to win at plus
I
210,
know. I like that a lot.
that money's insane.
That's great value.
The only thing, though, is that the Dolphins have to prove that they have one more speed than just fast. Because when you get to December, when you get to January, when you get to February, it's not about going fast. It's about making football a rugby match, a game of inches. It's about slowing it down, grinding it out, having your defense and offensive line work each other to the end of that tooth. And then who's going to come out on top? Who's going to make the Eagle stance where you're rolling with Jason Kelsey, you're rolling with Jalen Hurts, you're putting the ball beyond the pylon? Who's going to make it happen where Tua can get a breakaway and toss it out to Waddle, toss it out to Tyreek Hill to get it done on a quick 5-yard slant? So with this whole route, dude, I think that the smart money is you bet the Bills, but you go heavy on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins a lot. I don't love the Bills this year. I think
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen's always going to give you a shot, but I think stepping back with the offensive weapons there, he's already been so heavily like their offense is based off of Josh Allen. I mean, their
Correct.
running
Has
game has
been.
been based off the whole
Yes.
time. Now you're taking away a weapon in Stephon Diggs, and you're kind of throwing in some young guys, some tight ends who I kind of like that I was thinking about getting maybe later, one of those tight ends, but we'll see. You're just putting more and more pressure on Josh Allen to go make plays, where that's been his problem in his career is when
Mm-hmm.
Josh goes out and goes video game mode, it goes
Yep.
bad a lot of the times. He turns the football over, and that's why they lose games. And they haven't been able to get over the top because of it. Now you can say the close game against their defense hasn't gotten any better with that either. So you lose guys on offense. The defense, you lost a couple guys in Hyde and the likes in the secondary. They just haven't progressed to get better, maybe in a year or two, but I just don't see it for that football team right now.
I mean, dude, to bring it back, we're beating a dead horse here again. I'm bringing up the fact, if you've listened to the show, if you've listened to any show, but this show in particular, the best sports show on the internet, Cole One's Conversations with the most beautiful faces that you're ever going to see, Hollywood Hair and Brendan the Bod. What have we said over and over? Besides the fact that I've talked about Aaron Rodgers being a money guy and not using his talents, right, to make the best out of the situation of that arm, how is it again that you've got, quote unquote, the ideal franchise quarterback in Josh Allen, and he hasn't been able to strong arm a GM, strong arm ownership, excuse me, and strong arm a coaching staff to get him a top 7 back in the league? The dude does not have a legitimate run game outside of his own 10
Saquon Barkley
toes.
was out there for the taking. They didn't want to pay him.
Saquon Barkley was. Derrick
Oh,
Henry
Henry
was.
was.
Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs was.
Yeah.
You're talking
Aaron Jones. Like
Aaron
there was so
Jones.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about guys. How has he
I
not
like
been able to
Cook,
make that
but
deliver?
yeah, the upside there is just isn't what you thought it was a year or two
No.
ago.
Well, and Cook should be again. Cook's your sprinkle on top.
Yeah, he's not a
He's
20
not your main bet.
carry. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, how is it that if you're really trying to compete for a title, Derrick Henry made it clear that that's what he wants. How do you not make sure that Lamar Jackson isn't the one who grabs that guy? I mean, are you kidding me right now? God, am I thankful to have him? But Josh Allen, how'd you not make that happen? And again, I think that the Bills sooner or later, the Dolphins are going to figure out the Bills. It's just what it comes down to. Because when you look at it, man, the snow is no longer, I can't say that the snow any longer is Josh Allen's home. He's gotten beaten in the snow too many times, and he's made it too close in the snow too many times. He doesn't have that advantage that weather requires, that you think down in that late, again, November, December, January, and February type football. I mean, dude, you saw that game when they were playing in Buffalo and the snow was coming down, and the Bills could look like they couldn't keep the lead. Now, they obviously ended up winning that game by a touchdown, but still, I mean, dude, they look like they were on the ropes the whole time. 2 years ago, they lose to in their own house. They get trampled by the Bengals in the second round in the snow, gone. So I think the smart money right now is again the Bills, because listen, they've got the least to prove. If I'm taking a winner, I'm taking the Bills. They've won it year in and year out. You've got the frustration of the Jets knowing that they've got so much to prove, going out the way that they did, a coach who's in a hot seat, a lot of head cases there, not knowing where you're at. And again, the Dolphins have to solidify, are we going to pay this guy? They got a lot of mixed emotions, and everyone in their division, and the Patriots are a snore. So the smart money is the Bills, but sooner than later, that bill is going to come due, no pun intended. They're not going to be the kings of this division the way the Patriots were. That's my final take on the East.
yeah. To wrap it up real quick, Kirk Minahan from Barstool?
Yeah, of course.
He called the Fanatic the other day while I
No
was
way.
producing, but it was like in between shows. So
Okay.
the other guy picked it up.
Okay.
And I think they were trying to troll because they hated like this one guy who used to be on air a long time ago. They had beef with them. So they were trying to find this guy, and they were trying to like troll us. And I wish I picked up that phone because I would love to say how the Patriots dynasty was killed by the Philadelphia Eagles. But if you hear that, I'm back up on the clock, and I am debating between two guys here that I am super excited about. And I just kind of want to think Cooper Kupp's still that dude, right? Or is he washed? Is that the mind of the Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor?
So are we
Like
talking, wait, are we talking draft right now? Are we talking NFC?
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
I think you're eyeing Cooper.
I'm not eyeing Cooper, but I am eyeing that Rams team, and we'll get into that next week. Dude, listen, at the end of the
I'm going
day,
between him and another guy. Devontae's still there, but I already got AJ.
Devontae is still there. Yeah,
I,
you don't
but
need
I
that.
think
That's
Devontae's gonna pop off this year too.
He's got to. He's got
Yeah,
to. Here's how I answer that question, dude. Who's under center? And under center, there's a gunslinger.
yeah, Matt
So
Stafford.
I think that Cooper is he again, dude. He's one of those leaders. He's a real
My
deal
my thing
player.
is my team's gonna look like a team from like 3 years ago that are
A hundred
amazing.
percent. A hundred
With
percent.
Taylor, Kamara,
Yes.
AJ Brown,
Yes.
Cooper Kupp. This
Hundred
team would
percent.
be fantastic in 2021,
Yep, I hear you,
Yeah.
brother.
All right, screw it. We're going with it. All right. But all right, let's move on to the next division here. And I think I want to go to the one where the team that was the darlings of last year that came out of nowhere, the young team with the rookie QB, the two top picks, and the defensive lineman and the rookie quarterback from Ohio State go in and play absolutely great, win a playoff game. They're the new darlings that they're going to be able to make a run. They might be the new best young team to beat. And I think it might be Jacksonville Jaguars' time to step up and take down the Houston Texans with all this hype around
Wow.
them.
Do you really, brother? Do you
I think
really?
Dougie P and Trevor Lawrence, this is the year that they have to prove that they can start to put it together as a franchise now. They've gone out and they've gotten weapons, they've gotten defensive players. They need to not come up short like they have the last couple of years and choked. I think the Houston Texans team is good. Their defense, I mean, their offense is going to be star-studded all over the place. But with a second-year QB, a lot of people they get figured out and they can struggle. They can hit that sophomore wall, and it might not be as an explosive offense. Now, I might be dead wrong, and they set new records and they put up points like the Dolphins did last year. But I think at the end of the day, this division is going to be a lot closer than what people are expecting. You have Houston almost even money, at plus 105 to win
Yep.
it. So Jacksonville sitting at 270, I kind of like it. And I don't know how you feel about the Colts with Anthony Richardson coming back, but you're on the clock right now. So I know that's why if you're watching the YouTube, his eyes are flashing all over the place. But at the end of the day, I think that this Jacksonville team, they need to do it. This is the year they have to step up and make it happen. As Harry goes with Aaron
Aaron
Jones,
Jones.
one of the guys we were talking about with the running backs moving positions there. So I mean, you want to talk us through this second pick that you have here back to back, or
I'm
you want
de-
to dive in?
I'm debating on two guys right now, man. I'm debating on another tight end.
You're gonna go Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. That'd be wild. Two
That'd be
tight ends
mm.
with the flex. Do we even have a
Devontae
flex?
Smith. Yeah, I think I'm going to do Devontae Smith.
All right, yeah, get in that bird gang action. Atta boy.
I think that's the one, dude. It's either that or maybe Tank Bell. Maybe
Dang.
Tank Bell.
Well, what do you think about him coming off the injury here? He got shot over the offseason. That offense
Yeah,
is
but
got a
that
lot of weapons.
he's
Is
ready.
there is there enough room for the ball to go around there?
Dude, Stroud's going to make it work at the end of the day. He's so legitimate. He's such a real deal, but so is Jalen, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I would argue that to you. You've got,
Yeah, both teams
you
have
look,
embarrassment of riches all over the place
you
there.
know what? You got to go with the real deal here. And I'm going to draw out this clock. I'm just going to draw it out.
You got 5
Five,
seconds here.
4, 3. And with
I
that,
mean,
Devontae Smith's off the board.
yeah, the auto pick would have gave him to you too. So, but yeah, I mean, I like
Please.
Devontae there. I think he's gonna compete with AJ for 1,300
Yeah.
yards this year. Jalen, all the talk is that he hasn't thrown for 4,000 yards in his career. Now he's ran for 9 or 1,000 on top of the 3,000 that he's passed for before when he was going to the Super Bowl. But I think the emphasis with Kellen Moore with all these weapons, they're gonna really space that ball out now. His legs, I hope, are back that weren't there last year. So we'll see if that'll take it away. But I like the two of them to really have a beautiful season, and it's going to be electric, this Eagles offense. But we're talking AFC here. What do you got on this AFC
So
division?
here's
AFC
where
South?
I'm at, man. I mean, when we really break down, right, what you were saying, I got to say I completely disagree about the
No,
South. Um, I, the Jags, yes, they've paid their guy. Yes, they've got the talent. But at the end of the day, dude, Trevor Lawrence is starting to become a guy that we're not talking about anymore, if you notice.
and that's what I'm
We're
saying.
talking about
He
no, but
needs to prove that he can be that guy.
but
I mean, it's
there's a
crazy they
reason
paid him
for it.
before he's proved that, though. But
But
that's just
there's
the
a
nature of
reason
the
for it,
beast.
dude. You got Jared Goff who's outdoing him right now. You got Jordan Love who's outdoing him right now. You got the king right now, or a young and upcoming king, it looks like, and CJ Stroud outdoing him right now. You've got Joe Burrow who has outdone him. You've got Lamar Jackson who has outdone him. You've got Josh Allen who has outdone him. The guy that I'm comparing, honestly, to Trevor Lawrence to right now is Tua. And I would say Tua is your better bet because look at the offense that he's got going on. I think that the truth of the matter is listen, when we look at these odds, when we break this down, Houston is still at plus money, which says to me that Vegas truly believes in the sophomore slump. They're not willing to put it at minus 110. They're not willing to say that we're cashing in all of our money here. We think that this is the way to go. They still think that the Texans can lose this division. They understand that, the Colts could get in the mix. They understand that, listen, The Titans are definitely out of the race, but who knows? Maybe they could get a few upset games. And they know that Trevor Lawrence can sling the rock. But what I'm telling you is, dude, I think the difference maker is that it's not a talented quarterback with an okay coaching staff. The Texans are an insanely talented quarterback with an insanely talented coaching staff that has put together a young core group of guys that, like you said, a lot of mouths to feed, dude, but you don't hear noises coming out of that team. You don't hear personalities coming out of that team the same
I
way that you
don't know.
do.
Stephon Diggs preseason game 1 was in CJ Stroud's face.
They'll sit him. They'll sit him.
Oh yeah.
They'll sit him.
Uh-huh.
They will sit him because he's not the king there anymore, dude. They know that he's not. You're not coming. CJ Stroud has had success outside of you. The question has been, has Josh Allen had success out of you? Josh has got to prove that now. Now anybody who really watches football knows Josh is going to have talent and have success no matter who his receiving core is. He could have the receiving core that Lamar Jackson had his first 2 years, where it was just basically Mark Andrews, and he still have success. But CJ Stroud has done it. CJ Stroud is the favorite right now to win this division, and I'm sticking with CJ Stroud. I think it's scary. I will tell you something, man. I'm not going to go too deep on this unless you want to. CJ Stroud could have a very deep playoff run, dude. You looked at their schedule. They've got one of the easiest schedules in the NFL right now. You get that guarantee. I mean, dude, they got an opportunity to be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
They
could
could
get that bye.
They could, or Vegas could be with me saying that they aren't sure if they can, a young team like this can win the division.
I hear you.
With all these guys going into their second year, the NFL figures you out.
So here's my question to you then, Tro.
They could go and they could win 13, 14 games, or they can win 10, 11, and this division's a lot closer. Kind of what Vegas is putting the odds at here.
Here's the only thing that I'll push back against you. Both the Eagles and the Ravens have figured out how to have a lot of mouths to feed and to win a hell of a lot of games. The Ravens hosted the AFC Championship, number 1 team in the NFL until the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl, had so many mouths to feed. Odell Beckham Jr., Aguilar, a million running backs, Mark Andrews, A.J. Brown. The list goes on. And it's touchdown after touchdown. Lamar, touchdown after touchdown. And I think that CJ Stroud can do the same. Isaiah Likely. I mean, come on.
At the end of the day, I think my logic is just the
NFC. Mitchell, come on.
The NFC East, there's been since what, 02 or something like that. There hasn't been a back-to-back division winner. And seeing a young team like this go back-to-back, I just can't fathom it in my mind. So that's where I'm at. Before we move on, what do you think of the Colts? Are the Colts a team, or you think they'll be frisky, or you think they're just Anthony Richardson's not that dude?
To this day, I am still proud to say that I called Anthony Richardson getting picked early. Loved it. Proud of it. Did it live on this pod. I think what's hard, man, is that unfortunately, Anthony seems to be playing a style like Josh Allen, but his body doesn't seem to be built for it, dude. He takes a lot of big hits. And we saw that happen in real time, dude, with the injuries that he faced just in his rookie season. Obviously, this style of the NFL is outside of the Green Bay Packers, who last season I've attested are the only ones who know how to truly use a drafted quarterback. They make you sit, they make you wait, and then you come up and you win. That's not the way it is with the rest of the NFL. They want you to play immediately. And Indianapolis is depending on this guy to make something happen. They will be better than the Titans, but they've got a lot to prove. They're not a team that I think what's their win? Whatever their win total is, I take the under, is the way that I'd put it. I'm not a big believer.
All right, let's move on. You like Houston. I like Houston. I think Jacksonville can make it interesting, though.
Okay.
All right, you want to save your division for last, or you want to go?
Let's go West. Let's go West, because the West is, again, very, very interesting in light of what's happening. So many storylines right now this year in the NFL, just in the preseason. A lot of storylines. You've had major coaching changes and Jim Harbaugh coming over to the Chargers. You've had the release of Russell Wilson being run out of town and Bo Nix being drafted and Sean Payton showing that he's the king of the kingdom. You've had the Raiders now, who have no true leader at the quarterback position, but are selling themselves on a made man, as I would say, at that head coaching spot. And then you've got the new kings of the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. And Andy Reid, who I think is arguably, if he wins another Super Bowl, which he will, in my opinion, will be the greatest coach of all time and overtake and overtake Bill Belichick. And now the mini goat in Patrick Mahomes. This is a very interesting division, man. You got Justin Herbert, who's got so much to prove here.
God,
My
minus
question to you,
270.
my question to you is this. I want to stick on the Chargers for a second. If this team struggles, do you think that Jim would move off of Justin? Not obviously in the season, that's not going to happen. But if this team struggles, let's say that they make the wild card, but then they get destroyed, they might not even make the wild card. There's a potential that they don't. If they don't make the wild card, is Justin still the QB? Because clearly Jim is going to be the head coach.
Yeah, I think Justin's there for at least 3 years.
Okay. You think that Jim's that sold on him?
I think that's the reason why he went there.
He talked more about JJ than he did about Justin.
I don't know. I wasn't really paying too close attention to all that, but I mean, I hear you, but yeah, I think a huge reason why he went to the Chargers is because of the quarterback. Why else would he have gone there? I mean,
I
he
hear
could have
you.
went to the Bears. He could have had Caleb Williams. He could have had a decent defense. He could have went to the Bears if he wanted. If the Bears
Yep.
fired their head coach, all he had to say was, I'm the national champ. I'm an ex-Bear. Give me the contract. Get rid of that guy. They would have did it, but obviously he didn't do that. He said, I wanted to go out there. People always say how he raved about Justin Herbert. I think that's his guy.
Well, dude, that's what you want to hear, right? I mean, the Chargers could absolutely be dynamic. There's no question about it. They could be the realest deal.
At the end of the day, do any of these teams have a legit shot to actually compete with the Chiefs to win the division?
No, my question. Well, you don't know, man. I mean, the Chiefs again have proven, dude.
They've had ups and downs throughout
They're not
seasons and then be able to win it at the end of the day.
the Chiefs. I will say this, and we're going to clip this. The Chiefs are not a regular season team. They're a playoff team. Completely
They're an MLB baseball team.
100%.
They know it's a long season.
Yes, they do.
They got the ups and downs, but they know that they got 87 and they got Patty Mahomes, Fatty Pat McBurger back there, and Andy Reid calling the plays. That they get to the playoffs, they like any of their chances. It doesn't matter. They're a playoff baseball team. Regular season doesn't matter to them. Get to the playoffs, they believe they can get it done. End of story.
Yep. I think that their win total was at 11. The Chiefs,
Really?
I mean, dude, I think that that's a very fair number. I take it. I think that they scratched 12. I think that the Chiefs would be lucky to win 12 games. I really do believe that, dude. Yes, they might be a little bit better at wide receiver, but probably not much. I mean, dude, they're going to be remembered as Super Bowl champions from this year, obviously. But before that, they were known as the team that dropped all the balls.
Yeah.
If you weren't throwing it to Kelsey, the guys couldn't catch it in the air. So, no, dude, I think what's frisky is, do the Chargers have enough in the tank? We do believe that the Chiefs are going to win, but do the Chargers have enough in the tank to get into that wild card spot? That's my question. Is that a team that can win over 11 games? Because that, I believe, is going to be hard. My question is now with Jim, is KC splitting their games with the Chargers? Are the Chargers beating Denver both in their own house and on the road? Are the Chargers the Chargers should absolutely trample Vegas, both at home and on the road with this coaching staff change. There should be no question about it.
Yeah, Vegas, I would like Vegas I like Antonio Pierce as the head coach. I think their defense could be good. You got, Devontae Adams. I like the makeup, but just trying to sell me on the fact of Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell as your starting quarterback to win you more than 5 football games, I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get there.
I hear you.
I think they could be frisky if they still had Derek Carr. I would like them for 7, 8 games or float around 500. But having those two guys at the QB position, yikes! Oh, is Jimmy G still there?
He's back up.
Yeah.
No. Jimmy G's isn't he a Ram right now?
What the hell happened to Jimmy
He's a
G?
Ram. He's a
Is
Ram right
he?
now, dude. Yeah, he's in a great setup. He's with the Rams.
That's why we do this, everybody, because oh my God, he is.
He's with the Rams. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh my
Which when
God.
you think about it, I mean, dude, kind of like
We're all getting the kinks out here, ladies and
how
gentlemen.
great but dude, how great of a setup is that, man? You're
Yeah.
with. I mean, here. I'm just gonna throw it out. I'm very hot on the Rams. We're saving it for next week, but I am very hot on the Rams. And Jimmy G, dude, if he got plugged into that scenario for 3 games, he will play well. He's not going to play 5. He's not going to play 16. But if he plays 3, that's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So to answer the question about the West before we move to the North, yes, I see KC winning, but I see them barely scratching 12, man. This is not a team that's going to win 13 games.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's at the point now where it's just take the Chiefs they should win the division every time. There's no you could try to talk yourselves around it and talk other teams into it, but at the end of the day, the expectation and everybody in Vegas knows it's the Chiefs. But I'm on the clock. Do I take Dak Prescott to meme? I
You're
can't root
going
for
QB
Dak.
now?
I mean, what are we in
You can
round
wait though, dude.
7
There's a
late?
lot of guys,
I know. Well,
aren't
I
there?
mean, I have 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a tight end. Like
Oh, there really aren't.
I'm looking at a receiver, or I'm looking at the 2 QBs. Uh-oh. All right, we'll go Tank Dell. Fuck it. We'll take Tank Dell for the upside there. I think that guy can be, even though I was talking about the sophomore slump with that team, he's one of those guys that can get you big explosive plays when healthy, and he can be a huge asset there. He'll get a lot of touches, so we'll see how that works out. But um, as Hollywood's on the clock here,
Yeah,
we got we
I got an interesting pick here, man. I just got to put this out real quick. So I got back-to-back picks, and I'm saving. I think I'm going to go quarterback at the 8th. We're at the bottom of the 7th right now.
you're saying, oh, well, you're gonna go quarterback now to me, and then you're
No,
gonna.
no, no, no. That was the 7th round. Did you not hear what I just said, my friend? I'm going
Mhm.
quarterback at the top of the 8th. Top of the 8th, totally different discussion than the
Oh,
bottom of the
okay.
7th. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I think he's going to have a breakout year. I think that he's going to be absolutely ridiculous. I think he's going to go absolutely crazy. Where did he go? Where did he go? Where did he go? I just saw him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking Roma Duze. He's
I
off
was
the
looking
board.
at him.
He's off the board. I love it. And now it's time. Now it's time. Who's your guy under center? Who's your guy? Who's your guy being that bad mamma jamma? Who's the guy throwing it? And ladies and gentlemen, ooh, hold on.
Are you gonna take the stack? Take the stack.
Hold on.
Take the stack, dude. Come on. I would love if Dak Prescott goes undrafted in our
Mhm.
league. That'd be kind of funny. And
That
it's
would be
not and
incredible.
it's not all Eagles fans in this league. It's a mix of
No,
everybody.
dude, I don't know right now. I'm between 2 guys. There are 2 guys right now that could do some damage.
I'm looking at a young guy that I'm hoping you don't take because I'm gonna take him. But it might hurt me because he might get hurt, but it would be fun. It's got plenty of upside there. Before we get into your
This
Baltimore
is hard.
Ravens.
This is horrible podcast. This is bad radio, as
Yeah.
they say. I'm sitting. All right. Well, I'll tell you who I'm between. I'm thinking of taking the man in red. I'm thinking about taking the young man in red. At sitting at 93.
What, Jaden Daniels? Or Brock Purdy?
Oh, I didn't. I went with Love.
What? All right.
All right.
Do
I
we
like those picks. All right. Let me break those down really quickly, ladies and gentlemen. What was going through my head? What was going through my head is this: if you watch preseason, you'd think that the Bears are winning the Super Bowl. Okay, let's make that clear. First of all, this has been one of the coolest seasons of Hard Knocks. I've absolutely loved it. It's been so fun to watch. Also, not trying to act, absolutely crazy, but it has been like fun to see Big Cat be like a little schoolgirl about his
I
team.
don't know. He's excited. It's nice to
It's funny.
it's nice to
It's
see him
cool.
excited. He's not a dead
Yeah.
dog. And even PFT with, his quarterback now,
Dude, we got to get into that too. I mean, I want to talk about next week. We do have to talk about that the Commanders could have an absolute breakout season. Talk about a wild card team.
People
Talk
are
about a
talking
wild
about
card
that a
team.
lot, and that's why it makes me feel so good that the Eagles are going to whoop their ass.
Well, of course they are. But dude, I mean, that kid, he can sling the ball and he is accurate.
He's a good player. He is for sure. But they got rid of one of his big weapons before
I
the
know.
season.
I know.
And you gave him to your division rival.
I know. A
What are they
very,
doing?
very,
Right
very
when you
stupid.
think Washington's starting to figure it out, and then they're
Yeah.
giving up on their first round picks.
And then they act like Washington, right?
Yeah, like what?
I hear you. I hear you.
So, yeah, it'll
All
be
right.
interesting.
Well, where I'm at with it, and going back to it, I think Rome Odunze is just going to have an insane season, man. I think it's going to be really fun to watch him and Keenan Allen go absolutely crazy, and I think that Caleb Williams is going to. I mean, dude, the comparisons to Patrick Mahomes is nuts. Every time that someone does that, where they compare these young guys coming out of the NFL. I mean, listen, they were doing that with Josh Allen, right? They were saying he looked like Big Ben, and yes, he's had success, and yes, he's been great, but he really hasn't done anything yet. It's the guys like Burrow. It's the guys like Lamar Jackson. It's the guys like Patrick Mahomes. It's the guys like Jalen Hurts who are doubted in that first year or two that then come out and they go crazy and they go to Super Bowls and they might lose a few and they might lose some division titles. But you know what? They're in the real conversation, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the reason why I went with Rome. I think he's going to be crazy. I think Caleb's going to be awesome. And I think that Jordan Love is going to be sensational. Trilly, over to you. You're on the clock.
Yeah, I think I'm going Richardson because I don't want to take Dak, but I'm also
You're going
thinking about
QB?
taking
Okay.
Raheem. Or I'm thinking about Raheem Mostert, but I already got running backs.
Ooh.
But I like Mostert. If
That's not
A-Chain gets
bad.
banged up, and Mostert will still get his touches, but he gets banged up. Again, my
See, I
team
like
could be.
Najee, man. I think the only part of
I
Pitt's
don't like
game is
Najee.
Najee.
I already have him in another league. All right, we want Anthony Richardson because we were off 3 seconds left. We'll take it. I don't know.
I hear you.
I'm not loving this team.
I,
Not
I'm
loving.
I'm feeling good on mine.
I mean, eh, my team looks good from 2 years ago, but I don't
I
know.
hear you.
I was looking at Xavier Worthy a little bit, but we'll see. All right, let's get into it. Your division, Harold
Okay.
Hoops.
You want to open it or me?
You open it. You open it. You
Okay.
set the scene. Obviously, you're very biased.
Very biased.
I think this is going to be the tightest division, if you
Well,
ask me, other than the AFC East.
I could not agree with that statement more. I mean, dude, we're looking at it. First of all, we've got probably the second most decorated, if not the third most, the second to third most decorated NFL franchise being scrutinized in a way that we've never seen before in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're talking about one of the greatest coaches of all time that people are saying, can he coach anymore? Are you idiotic? Are you idiotic? You're talking about a Super Bowl winning head coach. You're talking about the greatest at the podium head coach. You're talking about the big man Mike, and you're wondering if he can coach anymore. And that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've got the Cleveland Browns that over the last 2 years have really figured out what they're doing and have a ridiculously legitimate offense and an insanely legitimate defense. You've got Joe Burrow, who's won an AFC championship in his short career, who's gone to a Super Bowl in his short career, who can sling the rock day in and day out. And he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to do that with, by the way. And then who do you got? The men in purple. The men in purple. In Lamar Jackson, rockin' Ojo. In 89, Marky Ange. In Roquan Smith, a.k.a. Agent Zero. And Johnny Harbs holding it down. The winners of the AFC North. Title champs of the AFC North. This division is going to be incredibly hard, man. It's going to be cutthroat. It's going to be how it is every single year. Punch you in the face type football, knock you down. I think the Ravens come on top, but I think it's narrow. I'm not going to lie here. Let's look at the odds. Let's jump into it. When you look at it right now, you got the North at the Ravens plus 145 and the Bengals are plus 165. You got DraftKings who is giving you the same odds on both teams. And Depending, honestly, this division is going to come down to one word and one word only to sum this up, and that term is health. Whoever stays healthy the longest is who's going to win the division.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens got it. I think it's going to be the hardest division in football. I think the firepower in this division is insane. The defense is still the core and the DNA, and I believe the Ravens come out on top.
I think all of these teams have proven that they have been built to play against each other, I think.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like they can all be meh against other teams in the NFL, but when they play each other, it always seems like they match up very well across the board.
Agreed.
Like these defenses can always go after each other and they can stop Lamar. They can stop Joe. They can stop
Yep.
Deshaun or our boy that hopefully maybe gets some snaps and Jameis Winston for the Cleveland Browns now.
Dude, did you hear him talk to the ref about his helmet?
No, I did not see that one.
Dude, the ref went up to him. I like your helmet. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut. Like he has the new setup. It's like, dude, what is your deal, dude?
He's
It's
the
so
best.
funny. It is so funny, man. He is so originally him. But again, another guy talking about Jimmy G, talking about Jameis Winston now. What an elevation, by the way, from his last team. You're with a legitimate, you're with a playoff contender.
Yeah.
That was a backup with a guy who's gotten consistently injured. Jalen will play. He's gonna play 2 games.
Jameis? Yeah, maybe.
Jameis, what did I say? Jalen? Yeah, Jameis
Yeah.
is gonna play 2 games because you're gonna have Deshaun Watson go down, dude. He's too injury prone.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
Nuts.
When you look at the rest of let's go team by team.
Okay.
Out of 100%, how concerned, 0 to 100, how concerned are you them versus the Ravens just straight up? Not for the division, playing
Okay.
them straight up,
Okay.
percentage-wise.
Go each
Bengals,
team.
Steelers.
Go each team.
We'll start with the Cleveland first. 2 games against them. How are we feeling?
Highest number is that we win, or highest
Yeah,
number is that
let's
we
say
lose?
very confident is over 70%.
Okay. So
Anything below, it could be a loss.
back-to-back games, Cleveland is 50.
Wow.
They are that. I said this last year. I'm going to say it again. The Cleveland Browns are the only team in the NFL that are built to beat every single team in the NFL. There's no other team that is. People forget that the Cleveland Browns, before what's his name goes down, in that game in the mud against a fully healthy 49ers roster, was leading them the whole time, went on to win. People forget that the Cleveland Browns beat the AFC Championship, the AFC Championship host, the #1 team in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. People forget that the Cleveland Browns have the talent that they have because they're too concerned about the guy at quarterback because of everything going on around with him and that he's always hurt. They're built to beat everyone. So that's why I say that that's a toss up. I think that if we're in their house, they can beat us. And I think that if we're hosting, we win.
All right, let's go to the Steelers. First, who's going to be the quarterback? No, not who. How many games does Russ have as the quarterback this season?
7.
That's a little more than I would think.
7.
Do you think it's more because he performs and proves it, or Mike Tomlin's that? I don't. Tomlin's not a stubborn dude when it comes to it, though. I feel like he's willing to make changes if he sees fit.
I think he is too. I think that he wants to get the most out of that puppy, find out really how much does he have left. He knows that it's a hard division anyway. He knows his defense is what's going to keep him in games. And listen, man, Fields is what he is. If he's surrounded by the right game plan, he can probably do pretty well. They're always going to have him. I think that they're going to keep Russ until literally it's like the wheels are falling off this thing. He has to sit down. If he throws 3 picks in one game, it'll be like, okay, he's going back out there though next week. It's gonna have to be that he literally cannot game manage. It's gonna have to be like that game when Peyton Manning the whole time is like, let's take a T. Let's take a timeout here. Let's take a T. Let's take a timeout here. If that happens again, he's sitting. But if he's not, dude, I think Mike Tomlin lets him ride. The Steelers, how I feel that we win, 68%.
You're not. You're just below that 70. Very confident.
Yes, 68.
All right. And then the Bengals. Joey, if he stays healthy, he's proven he can get to a bowl,
Yeah.
proven he can win games,
Yeah.
proven he can compete with the best of them. Lost
Yes.
a weapon.
Yes.
Defense is fine.
Yes.
Lost their running back.
Yes.
Lost Higgins. Still got Chase.
Yes.
Still got Chase Brown, who's an X factor I kind of like.
Yes.
But do we like the Bengals? How
If
do we feel
Joe's
about the Bengals?
if Joe is unhealthy, and hurt,
Oh yeah,
87%.
yeah,
Hold
obviously.
on. Hold on. If Joe is healthy, 70%.
Oh, that all
This
right.
this Bengals team, this Bengals team, when it comes to games that matter against the Baltimore Ravens, do not know how to play against us. They played us. We played them at home, excuse me, I'm all over the place. We played them with a backup quarterback with injuries riddled all over the
Yeah,
offense, all over the defense. They had everyone, including the guy under center, ready to rock and roll. And at their house with a backup quarterback, we came within one dropped pass, one fumble, and one touchdown away from beating them in their own house when they should have beat us by a minimum of 17 points. I do not think that the Bengals are at all prepared for this Ravens squad. You're talking about a team in Lamar Jackson who has become an insanely accurate quarterback, dominates on the field. You're talking about the addition of Henry. You're talking about Mark Andrews. You're talking about Isaiah Likely. You're talking about a secondary that's not going to be able to be contained. You're talking about Roquan Smith, who's now going into his full season as the leader of this team, ready to rock and roll. The Bengals are not the team in this division that worries me. The team that worries me is the Cleveland Browns.
okay. All right. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals are going to be a very good team, but I also like the Browns. It's going to be interesting how the Browns running back situation plays out with Chubb coming off
Mm-hmm.
the injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ford, who stepped up pretty well, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And then yeah, the quarterback, but I like Jameis. I'm a Jameis guy. A lot of people might think you're crazy for that, but yeah. The one thing when you were going on listing your Ravens,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't talk about your wide receivers. How do we feel about that group?
It's tough right now, man. I mean, you got Aguilar, who obviously I'm glad that we brought him back, but we lose Odell Beckham Jr. You know what I'm saying? You've got Zay Flowers, and again, he's a dog. He's insane, but I think that the Ravens are clearly showing that we know what killed us in that AFC championship. We know it's that we didn't go to our basics, our DNA. We know it's that we didn't run it down people's throats. We know it was that at the end of the day, in the end of the day, in the games that matter, we didn't work through the trenches. I think that there's going to be a lot of points scored, not by sideline to sideline anymore, because people know that Lamar can do that. It's not anymore just push him to go to the sideline. He'll make it happen if Zay is open. But I think it's going to be, listen, can we get Mark Andrews to eat? Can we get Likely to eat? Can we get Keaton Mitchell to eat? Can we get Derrick Henry to eat? And then the leftovers is going to be Zay. The steak was Zay. It was Odell Beckham Jr. It was Aguilar. But this year, I really think it's that work through the trenches, and then that icing on top is that wide receiver group. Do you follow me there? What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
No, I hear you. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this team is based off of running the football. They have been for years,
That's
right?
right.
And I think Zay Flowers really took a big step in the right direction. And do you think he's they're expecting him to step into that wide receiver one role this season with letting Odell go?
I mean,
I
he
know you're on the
kind of
clock right now,
he
but
kind of already was. No, but the truth of the matter is he already was because of how injured Odell was this year.
yeah.
I think that it's always been our number one receiver with 52 seconds. First of all, let's talk about where I go here. Do I go get another wide receiver, or do I stick and go with a running back?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I'm just going talent and upside at this point.
I hear you. I hear you.
I'm going for guys that you think can break out
Can break out.
and be that Puka, type of player.
I might go get a Watson, honestly.
But obviously, make sure you stay tuned for the end of the show here. We'll be
Mm,
wrapping up shortly, but for what our rosters look like, because obviously that's how we started the show. That's how we got to end the show. But as Harry's making this pick here, but real quick before we finish with the Ravens talk here and finalize our division winners for the AFC, Fightins, baby, big comeback win tonight. Pumped about it. I was trying to keep it composed at the beginning of the show when Nick Castellanos hit a 2-run homer to give us the lead. Absolutely amazing. Fightins are back. I'm pumped up. They're going to sweep the Braves. That might not age well, but whatever. Good comeback win. I thought they were dead tonight, but
mm.
it'll be interesting to see. Hollywood goes with Dallas Goddard.
I
All
like it,
right.
man.
I like it. I don't know. Goddard, he can be a top 5 tight end, but there's so many weapons and he gets banged up a lot. And it's not like soft injuries. He's like Gronk, like where he runs the guy over and he like breaks his forearm. And you're like, oh, nice guy, like nice Dallas, way to run his ass over. And then he should like you hear like on the report he broke his arm, he's out 3 weeks.
Yep. I hear you.
So it'll be interesting with him there. And then you round out with Christian Watson.
I
You're going with that receiver quarterback duo there a little
I
bit.
like it. I like it, man. I mean, again, in your words of going with the guys who've got the most talent to offer, who are on the board. I think. Listen, man.
You
Green
got
Bay is going to
Jackson
win
Smith and
games.
Jigba. You still got Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison, Lad McConkey.
Green Bay is going to win games by air power. That's what they're going to do. Jordan Love is here to prove that he can throw the football. He's got to throw it to somebody. I thought I'd take one off the board.
No, I mean I don't hate it. With my pick coming up here, I already got Anthony Richardson, and I got plenty of receivers. I think I'm gonna go another quarterback here. I'm just gonna go for that running, throwing style quarterback, and I think I'm gonna go in
Ooh,
the
all
in
right.
division NFC East
Who are you thinking?
that we're gonna talk about that you're pretty high on from what it seems like in the NFC East.
Okay.
I think we're gonna go Jaden Daniels with
I
this
love,
next
dude,
as a
that,
backup QB,
dude,
and that's where I'm talking just upside.
let's talk about that real quick. And obviously, we gave you our AFC division winners. Next week, ladies and gents, we will be back with the NFC division winners. We are so excited for it. Next week, first week of football, Ravens, Chiefs, gonna be insane. But dude, I want to talk about the NFC East because you look at Jaden Daniels, man, and man, in this preseason, again, like Caleb Williams, looks like a breakout star, dude, and does not look like a guy that's not confident for the moment. Man, can he put that ball on a dime, man? I mean, I think that the Commanders, when we look at the NFC, right, and teams that can sneak in there, now with Minnesota, I don't. They've got the most ready roster except at that QB position. Washington's taken that sneaker cell for me that Minnesota was holding, dude. I think that they could really be something this year.
I hear you. I think they got a lot of hype, and I'll kind of get into it next week why I don't agree with that. But it'll be
Okay.
interesting to see. You want to wrap up our finals for who we got winning each division, and then we'll get on our merry way here and send it off into next week.
Let's do it, man. I mean, we're both running off at. I'm taking the Bills. You took Miami for the East, correct?
Yeah, I'm going Miami.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going Bills. You're going Miami. I'm going Ravens for the North. Who are you going?
Ah, I'll go Ravens. I'll ride. I'll ride for the
Love
pod.
it.
I
Ravens. And
wanted to go Bengals to get a
little
little
zest,
interesting here,
little,
but
little,
well, I'll
little,
ride. I'll ride.
all right, I hear you. Hey,
They're a good
listen,
football team. The
you
Ravens are
want
a good
to
team. We're
listen, if you
gonna
want
be
to make
down there. We're going Ravens Birds in
we
what,
are, and if
November or is it October? I
it's a
forget.
November game. If you want to
Yeah.
make the pan sizzle, dog, if you want to get a little angry, a little hot in the kitchen, I'm down. Whatever you want, I'm down.
We'll have to come up with something.
All right. And then
Let us know what you think in the comments.
AFC South, this is going to be a showdown. I'm going Houston, you're going Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'll go Jacksonville.
And then probably the most easy pick in football, KC to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
KC to win all around.
Lock it, clip it, put it out. We'll see how dumb we look in about 8 months. So we'll see there. But I don't know how we feel about this. I mean, I'm pumped up for this NFL season. How we feel about the draft? We got a couple rounds left, but I think we were a little hectic at the beginning because we
Yep,
started at the very beginning of the draft,
we
and we
did.
appreciate everybody who stayed in with us
We were
this whole
finding our way
way.
around it. We were finding our way
But
around.
let us know what you think through our thought processes through this whole thing with the draft. So it is an AFC special with a fantasy football special on top of it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. But I mean, I think a solid first show. We appreciate all you guys. Make sure you're liking, follow, subscribe. We're boosting these numbers up. We're trying to get a show out every Thursday before or every Friday. So we'll probably miss or we'll react to Thursday night football and then send you into the weekend. We're gonna do run back. We're gonna do our 4 picks for the weekend, the HTP, the Harry Trilly parlay,
It's
and
gonna
then
be insane,
hopefully
dude.
we.
Gambling this year is gonna be bad. Like we're gonna spend a lot.
Oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna win, baby.
Oh, 100%.
I'm feeling great about it. We're gonna dive into some more college football too, which I'm excited about. I'm going out to Notre Dame USC this
Are
year at the
you?
end of November. I am out
That's sick.
at USC too in Cali. Shout
No
out my
way.
shout
How
out
are
my
you
boy
doing that?
EJ. What?
How are you doing that with work?
No, my buddy EJ, that growing up, played rugby with him. He goes to USC now. He was in the Marines for 6 years, and
No
he's going to
way.
school there now. So we always talk sports and stuff. But shout out EJ. Hope you're watching. Comment if you made it this far. But yeah, he's the boy. He's going there. He got his tickets. I said, all right, how much? And I looked up a plane ticket. It was like $300 round trip
Done.
when I booked it like a month or two ago. So that'll be a really cool trip. So make sure you go to BSP Media for that vlog coming out. But we'll be doing a lot more content. We're gonna be going Eagles, Ravens. It'll be a lot of fun. You got to come up for a C6 tailgate, Harry. C6 is where
C6.
it's at. We got Kelsey coming for week 2. It's gonna be
Shut up.
yeah. It's gonna be
No, you
sick.
don't.
Dude, and we're gonna be in a hype video for the Eagles next week that they're putting out to start the season.
Are you serious?
Yes, dude. They filmed it the other week. Well, we might have
What
to
did you
cut this,
wear?
but
What did you wear? Yeah, we'll cut this part, but what did you wear?
what I wore the Tush Push Philly Drinkers shirt.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
Yeah,
did. Yeah, you
yeah,
did.
yeah, dude.
That's
It's gonna be
awesome.
sick. It's
That's
gonna be
dope.
so sick, dude. Millions of people are gonna see that, and it's gonna be so cool. But
And you're like, yeah.
dude,
That's you.
and millions of people are gonna be watching this. We
That's right.
appreciate all you guys out there. Let us know what you think about fantasy. Let us know what we think about our division winners. We're getting to the NFC next week. We'll probably do it during the Thursday night game, I'm thinking.
I'm
So
loving that.
we'll kind of react to the game. Oh, the Ravens. I don't know.
I'm gonna be out. We could
Yeah, you're gonna be
do
doing. Should we go Wednesday and post Thursday?
we could go let's do Wednesday post Thursday going into the week. Yes.
Okay.
Do we wanna close out this show, pause it, and then we'll come back when the draft is over and give everyone our final teams? Because there's 6 rounds left.
I know that's crazy. How many? Let's just do what we got here because honestly, this is pretty much a full team. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. And then we'll
So
put out
we'll
say
put the
next week what we
graphics
got.
side by side. We'll do a poll. Who do you think had the better team?
Done.
Yeah. Who do you think's driving us out the Randies? Yeah.
Truly is.
No
All right,
way.
everyone. That's another episode of Cold Ones Conversations. Don't forget to tune in next week. Like, subscribe, share. We love you. We're back. It's another week. Gambling's coming. It's the NFL season. We're gonna make money. No injuries, no buys, no anything. We make money. We make money. We make money.
Hey,
Show me.
56% last year for the NFL season.
Have a
We're
day.
gonna keep better stats this year, I promise. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we get our boy back, Kieran, to help us out while he's
He'll
in
be
school.
locked in. He'll be
Yeah,
locked
so
in.
we'll be putting it all out. More social media content. Follow the Instagram. All right. Shout out to 215. Go Birds, baby.
Go Raven.